using a lapel mic today. I don't know if it's gonna work, I don't know if it even sounds good. It doesn't sound good in the tests that I have done. But you're finna rock with it. I just got like a stand-up comedy microphone. I just got like a generic looking microphone, like a stand-up comedy thing. I wanna feel like I'm doing stand-up in these videos now. So what's the deal with airline food? Oh, I'm Jerry Seinfeld. Oh, I sound like this. And you smell what the cock is sucking. Yo, who the fuck is MattCMG? Hey, paisanos, it me, MattCMG. And today, we gotta talk about sex. Wait, I've done this joke before. Sex! If you grew up watching cartoons, and by if I mean when, because who the fuck didn't, then chances are some of your first romantic feelings were for fictional characters. The term cartoon crush has since been coined to describe this very feeling, and fast forward today, and this has kind of evolved in a weird way into waifu culture and celebrity worship, which some crackers take just a little bit too seriously. And since Valentine's Day is right around the corner, I've been inspired to talk about cartoon crushes, and by extension, celebrity crushes and waifus and all that kind of stuff. So smash that motherfucking like button, grab a snack and a glass of orange juice, and try not to reach through the screen, because here we go! Shouts out Guptil, dude. So many of you functioning human beings in the audience might be wondering right now, why in the ever-loving fuck do people want to fuck cartoon characters when real consenting adult humans exist? Well, aside from the fact that people like this are usually unfuckable and that there is no consenting woman that will fuck me, there's actually some science behind this. Probably. I don't know. Now please allow me to pussyfoot around making a point for a full minute. In your formative years, your exposure to certain stimuli as a child has a direct correlation with the things that you're into when you grow up, and this applies in a lot of different ways. If you played with Legos as a kid, you might be more likely to grow up to become an architect or something like that. Or if you liked reading books as a kid, you might grow up to become a writer. If you grew up liking men, then your chances are you're probably gay. That kind of shit. But now let's get a little sexual. When you're young and are first starting to have your sexual awakening in a formative time like this, the things that you're exposed to will define your future romantic or sexual interests. You know, you coincidentally pop your first boner while watching SpongeBob, and suddenly Mr. Krabs is looking a little like a snack, and we ain't talking crab legs, baby. Of course, nobody can control their feelings like that. You know, you can't control the kind of things that you're into romantically or sexually, but your first exposure to stuff like that does have an effect on what you grow up to like. Again, probably. What did you expect me to do research for this video? Are you kidding me? What? This is a video about cartoon characters people want to fuck. What did you expect? Quality? Suck my dick. Fuck all that science bullshit though. Let's get into the real meat of this video. Me lusting over the shit that I was into. So for me personally, I had a few cartoon crushes that I can distinctly remember, though there are also probably a lot that I just kind of can't think of off the top of my head that I probably have just like repressed memories in the back of my skull, but you guys know what I'm talking about. Let me preface the rest of this entire video by saying that current 2023 MattCMG does not have any romantic or sexual feelings for any of the underage characters mentioned in this video. FBI, open up! Kid me totally did, adult me totally does not. Don't get your man titties in a twist. This is all in good fun. Not meant to be taken that seriously. If you take this seriously, kill yourself. One of the earliest characters that I remember having a crush on when I was a kid was from a show that I haven't had a chance to talk about on the channel yet, but one of my favorite shows when I was a kid was Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. And bro, when I tell you that Frankie Foster was a total fucking vibe, I am not exaggerating. I don't know why I would exaggerate that. This whole video is me exaggerating, but that's not shut the fuck up, Killy, die. My boy Mac was down bad for this bitch, and I can't blame him one bit. There was a whole episode dedicated to like 3 or 4 dudes simping for her, and the animators made sure that the viewer was one of them. Craig McCracken, he's crazy for this one. Alright, let's not beat around the bush, let's not kid ourselves. We've all seen the Zone porn parody, appropriately titled Blue Me. We all know where this discussion is headed. Nah man, with all the bullshit Frankie's gotta deal with on a daily basis, she doesn't need dick, she just needs a fucking hug. Okay, maybe some dick too on the side a little bit. Preferably mine. Frankie Foster. More like spank me faster. God. It wasn't even good, you stupid cunt. Of course, I can't mention cartoons that I grew up with without talking about Avatar. It's literally half my channel. Did you really think I wouldn't bring this up? When it comes to cartoon crushes from Avatar though, as a kid I was all about Katara, specifically her redesigns in book 3. Her Fire Nation drip was on point, and when she starts wearing her hair down, young me was a little weak in the knees. And I genuinely cannot tell you why, but this specific shot of Katara yelling at Sokka made me really horny as a kid, and I have no idea why. Of course, everybody loves Ty Lee. Am I really breaking any new ground here? The ditzy, free-spirited airhead, almost like a manic pixie dream girl type beat. Love that shit. When I was a kid, I was all up in these two, but I often forget that I was also a kid when The Legend of Korra was coming out, and I remember watching book 1 when it was airing and being in absolute awe that they would draw a character with titties that big in a children's show. It was baffling to me. It was wild. And dude, Asami, come on, bro. She was literally made to get kids horny. That was a sentence that I should have reworded. Oh my god. These two dated the same dude and then decided to start dating each other. It's fucking wild. It's like the confused boyfriend lore. I'm gonna shoot myself in the head for that joke. I think the best thing about the female characters of Avatar is that though many of them are drawn to be very attractive, they're all just like well-written characters beyond that. You know, they could have very easily written Katara to just be the generic girl love interest for Aang, like a lot of other cartoons were doing at the time, but she's a fully fleshed out character with her own personality, flaws, struggles, and development who is an asset to the group, and the cast just would not feel right without her. This applies to pretty much all of the ladies of the Avatar universe, and it's something that really sets it apart from the crowd, especially when well-written women aren't always a guarantee. But nah, dude, if you were into Azula, there is definitely something wrong with you mentally. Whatever parental issue it is that you have, you should probably sort that shit out. I could fix her, but honestly, whatever the hell is wrong with her is way hotter. If you like Toph, you have a foot fetish now. I don't make the rules, I'm sorry. I got the foot lettuce, you got a foot fetish. Moving on to some other shows, I did not grow up with Kim Possible at all. I watched it for the first time maybe a few years ago, but even before I had ever seen the show, I knew all about Shigo and how much of a bad bitch she was. This entire show was horny on main just like frequently, like for no reason. Like, calm down, she's 16. But like also Shigo though. It's actually kind of wild to me how much they sexualized Kim, because while she does age as the show progresses, I don't think that she ever becomes 18 canonically. So the fact that they continue to do this kind of makes you raise a Dwayne Johnson eyebrow. But much like the ladies of Avatar, Kim is a well-written character in her own right. But alongside that comes a lot of sexualization that, while not necessarily in your face, is certainly noticeable. It becomes even more noticeable when you learn that Disney and the show's creators were very aware of all of the Rule 34 of these characters on the internet. In a now infamous statement, Jeff Good, creator of American Dragon Jake Long, was sat down by Disney executives and shown copious amounts of Kim Possible porn and was told, this is gonna happen in your show too. Now, of course, you can't stop Rule 34 from being made, but the fact that Kim Possible was the first example they used just goes to show how horny this show really is. On the other hand though, Ron Stoppable shows us that the friend zone is literally not real and you're just a little bitch. Shigo, if she real, please step on my penis. In a similar vein, Totally Spies. What the fuck? I have never even seen this show, but I was very aware of it when I was a kid. And the fact that I've seen multiple screenshots from multiple episodes of incredibly obvious fetishes and the animators just being generally horny on main, I start to question how standards and practices even allowed this to be shown to children. There's brainwashing and body swapping, numerous shots of the girls being tied up in invulnerable situations, and even inflation and obesity fetishes on some Nikocado avocado shit. It's genuinely insane. Apparently the show is French in its origin and was only localized to the States, so that might explain some of the weird shit that the show is filled with, but even so, I don't know how they ended up airing this on a family network. This show, without a doubt, introduced thousands of kids to a ton of fetishes, and has definitely created a few freaks out there. Leave it to the French to do some shit like that. That being said, kid me would have been totally into this. See what I did there? You just can't go wrong with girls in latex suits, bro. Like, that's objectively hot. We seem to have gotten a bit off topic here. Not to get on a soapbox like a libtard or anything, but the fact that it was socially acceptable for so long for cartoons to sexualize minors, as tame as these things are, all things considered, is kind of wild. Like, you would be hard-pressed to find a character from a currently airing cartoon that was designed with the sole intention of giving a kid their sexual awakening. Kim and Shigo, the Totally Spies, that bitch from Road to El Dorado, even fucking Lola Bunny, if you want to count her, they were all clearly designed as eye candy for horny young dudes. And it's not really something that we really see anymore in such an obvious way, for better or for worse. That being said, can we please bring back Aaron Insurance? I would pound that pussy so hard that you would need to take out an insurance claim on it. I killed a pussy. Have you ever had sex with a pharaoh? But the pussy is sarcophagus. When it comes to sexualizing cartoon characters, Western animation has definitely been taking a step back due to cultural shifts. But there are some places who aren't so quick to change, so how could I possibly continue to avoid the elephant in the room here? Anime. And manga! Weeaboos have somehow taken the concept of a cartoon crush and made it their entire fucking personality, with the culture behind waifus and husbandos overtaking the fandoms of hundreds of shows. In many ways, it's hard to blame weebs for simping over some of these characters the way that they do, since a lot of anime girls are purposefully designed to be as cute as humanly possible to get all of these greasy fat fucks buying the $200 figures for their cumdra. Where my real botchers at, though? Despite that pretty cynical corporate design philosophy, though, I think that we would all be liars if we said we'd never indulge in a little bit of degeneracy from time to time. Guess who's going to jail tonight? Earlier in the video, we talked about Frankie Foster being one of the earliest cartoon crushes I can remember, but she's technically not my first cartoon crush. My very first cartoon crush that I can remember was actually an anime character, technically. May from Pokemon. If you know the channel at all, then you'll probably know that I've told my Pokemon anime story before, right? Where, I started watching with Diamond and Pearl, but that technically wasn't true. I've been lying to you for all these years because I'm a filthy fuck. When I was much younger than that, I remember catching reruns of the original series and Advanced Generation, so I knew all about May and Misty. I liked Misty as much as the next guy, but for whatever reason I vibed with May a lot more. While Misty does have those tomboy vibes that are oh so coveted today, she was often very mean and somewhat unlikable in my childhood view. May was much more girly and a lot nicer, which was a lot more appealing to me as a little kid. In fact, somebody on the anime staff has famously stated that Misty was phased out and replaced with May for the purpose of giving kids, and I quote, some new eye candy. Little bit sus on their end because this character is, 10 years old. A certified Japan moment. But as a kid, I wasn't really complaining one bit. I remember watching the Lucario movie a little bit later in life, and for whatever reason thinking that this scene where May yells at Ash for how he was yelling at Lucario was somehow them dating, and I don't know how I came to that conclusion. I don't ship these characters at all because I don't really care about that shit, but I could totally see May and Advanced Generation Ash being a decent couple. He serves as someone of a mentor to her in the early episodes of the series, but by the end they're pretty much equals, so there may have been something there, though by the end May clearly had a thing for Drew. This fucking guy. This guy doing contests? What are you, fucking gay? Oh, this guy was gay. He was definitely gay. While Misty was often just kind of there most of the time, May had a lot more character development. When she first begins her journey, she has no clue what kind of trainer she wants to be, but eventually falls in love with contests and becomes a coordinator, and eventually becomes so skilled at it that she is able to mentor Dawn later in Diamond and Pearl. May has returned to the anime a few times since her departure at the end of Advanced Generation, but unfortunately hasn't made a proper appearance in over 15 years, since apparently her Japanese voice actress has some kind of medical issue that makes it hard for her to work anymore. Kind of a depressing reason for why she doesn't show up anymore, and I would have loved to see her in the 2019 series, though, considering how that series went, yikes. Maybe that's a blessing in disguise. These days, when it comes to Pokemon waifus, as fucking soy of a sentence as that is, I'm more into characters like Cynthia and Karen, but shouts out to May for being the first. The sheer amount of quality-ass women is the only thing keeping me attached to this fucking franchise, bro. Please make a good game again, I am begging you, Game Freak. But that was May from Advanced Generation. That's like, what, 2005, 2006, something like that? That's a long-ass time ago. That was all before I even knew what anime was and before I understood the concept of a waifu. But now let's fast forward a little bit. In 2015, I first saw Kill la Kill and immediately understood what these weebs were on about. In a show where sexualization is a literal plot point, it's no surprise that characters like Ryuko and Satsuki became some of the most popular anime girls out there, with fan art of the two, both safe and not safe for work, being made almost 10 years after the show's conclusion. This is the only show I can think of where the skimpier your clothing, the more powerful you are. And as a horny 15-year-old, I was all up in that. Of course, Kill la Kill does this intentionally in order to parody how anime as a medium often over-sexualizes women, more specifically barely legal underage girls, and while that's a whole topic for somebody smarter than me to get into and talk about, the titties don't lie. Ryuko is still one of my top anime girls of all time because of her whole vibe, you know, the whole tsundere thing, and because she was one of the first that I had ever seen. In fact, the creative minds over at Studio Trigger are pretty much experts at making quality anime girls. You know, Yoko, Penny in Stocking, 02, even Michiru for you filthy fucking furries out there. You know, yeah, that girl from Edge Runners, which I haven't seen yet. I will get on it, I swear. But of course, I'm a Trigger stan, so of course I'd be down with whatever the fuck they have. So watch my Trigger video or I'll piss you on your fucking tit. I could honestly probably fill an entire video like this with just anime girls, because like I said, many of them are intentionally designed to be as visually appealing to the male gaze as humanly possible. You know, whether it's Nami and Robin from One Piece flaunting their fucking titties around, 02 becoming the de facto icon of waifu culture, Yoruichi and Mirako representing black women in a positive way, or Power and Makima being the Rei and Asuka for a new generation, there's a waifu that fits everybody's taste, and that's probably why they've overtaken so many anime fandoms. You know, they always ask whether you like Asuka or Rei, but that's kid stuff. Like literally kid stuff, and I'm not a pedophile. But Misato is a pedophile, and I will totally let her molest me. On the real though, I obviously don't take this cartoon crush waifu shit very seriously, because of course, I'm not a complete loser who is only attracted to cartoons. I am a real person, or at least I hope I am, and I also like and appreciate real women. Taking things outside of animation, celebrity crushes also have a very similar vibe to them, but with real people instead of fictional characters, so it's a lot more tangible, but a lot creepier as a result. And we don't even have to get into like celebrity worship and all that creepy shit to talk about this kind of thing, right? Because when you're a kid, seeing celebrities in movies and TV shows can sometimes be your only concept of what people are like outside of your immediate family. When you combine that concept with the boring scientific bullshit we were talking about earlier, it's easy to understand how some people can form infatuations or even parasocial relationships with public figures. Okay, you know, it sounds a little creepy when I put it that way, you know, like some fucking Bjorkstalker type shit, but 99% of the time, having a crush on a celebrity can be rather innocent, and I'd be willing to bet that most people probably have one. Getting into some of mine though, it's been kind of a running joke on the channel in the past year that I am a massive simp for Victoria Justice. And while I do exaggerate a bit for the meme, she was genuinely one of my first celebrity crushes as a kid, and honestly, she still kinda is. Obviously, she's attractive and all that with those high cheekbones, she hasn't aged a day in the past 10 years, and she can sing and all that shit. But she's honestly just like a really wholesome person outside of that. You know, she's the kind of person to read books to fucking underprivileged Ecuadorian children. You know, uses her influence to make a difference in the world, you know what I mean? She's definitely a way better person than I am, you know? I see like a starving African child and I pop his little fucking pot belly like a balloon for the lulz. Just watching a Progerian kid's head just slowly deflate. Shouts out Simfuckus.
Kelly's really gay.
But anywho, she advocates for empowering young women around the world, which she sings about in her song Girl Up, and was also featured in a song with fucking Paul McCartney and John Bon Jovi about saving the planet or some shit. The song is ass, and you can barely hear her in it, but the fact that she even gave a shit at all is pretty admirable. In fact, Vic's music is actually really fucking good, too. In making her return to music a few years ago, barring the unreleased songs that she's recorded in between then, you can really tell that she's matured as an artist and as a person. Her single Treat Myself is about her struggles with self-doubt, and Too Fucking Nice is about exactly what it sounds like. Stay is probably my favorite song of hers that she's put out so far. It just goes so hard. You know, back in the Victoria's days, she was singing pop music written by a marketing team, but now she has the independence and the life experience to be able to make her own stuff based on her own life and feelings, and I really like what she's put out thus far. I'm hoping she drops an album soon because I will be all up in that shit. First BTR is back, now Victoria Justice is out doing stuff again. 2010's Nickelodeon fans are eating good right now, bro. If I ever start up a music career, I 100% want her to feature on a song or something. Until then, I'll stick to making sus parodies, but hey Vic, the invite is still open. Also, date me. You could do one of those like 2010s type things where like you have like a female pop artist with like a random rapper in the third verse for no reason. And then that rapper also has his own song where the pop artist is singing the hook, you know what I mean? It's like an Eminem Rihanna type thing. We could do something like that. That'd be awesome. I'd be down with that. 2010 moment. There's a checkbox for me, right? There's single, taken, and mentally dating Victoria Justice. I'm in that third category somewhere. Getting back to the topic at hand though, Victoria's came out when I was 10, and I would watch it passively for a few years, and I think that entire show shaped my entire taste in women. You know, obviously we just talked about Vic, but Liz and Ari were some of my first celebrity crushes as well. Granted, it's more so due to their characters on Victorious than them as people. Not to say that I don't like them as people, right? They're still great people and I still follow their careers, but when I was a kid, their characters were really the only exposure that I really had to them. Kat's airheaded and ditzy nature was adorable, and I really fucked with the whole Paramore thing she had going on in season 1, while Jade's edginess and emo aesthetic was kind of unheard of for a Nickelodeon show at the time, and exposed me and probably a lot of other kids to the idea that girls could even be like that. Women do be like that sometimes, though. Big titty goth GF gamer style. You know, I know everybody likes to criticize the beach episode these days because, you know, Dan Schneider's a pedophile. But for kid me, this was my absolute favorite episode because it had the girls in bikinis and shit. I'm just a big fan of midriffs, bro. That's all I'm saying. Bro, that Christmas episode had me bricked up as a kid, and they knew exactly what they were fucking doing. Someone please cast Liz Gillies as Rouge the Bat in the next Sonic movie. It's just too perfect. Unironic fan cast. The One Piece. The One Piece is real. The Chaos Emeralds are gay. Moving on. I didn't grow up watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, but I know for a fact that every kid who did saw Kirsten Dunst's nipples popping out of her shirt and probably popped their first boner. I didn't see these movies until way later in life, and even I knew this shit was where it was at. I think the appeal of Kirsten Dunst's take on MJ comes from the fact that not only is the Raimi trilogy just absolutely goated, but that Tobey Maguire's take on Peter Parker was such a relatable guy, so fans can easily project themselves onto him. Peter's feelings for MJ become the audience's feelings for MJ, and that's probably by design. You know, MJ has that whole girl next door childhood friend type of vibe, so it's totally understandable that people who saw these movies as kids would form a crush on Kirsten Dunst. Fast forward 20 years later, and this woman has aged like fine wine, dude. I'll take back every bad thing I've said about the MCU if she does a fucking MJ cameo in the next fucking Spider-Man movie. I'm not kidding. And speaking of Spider-Man, can we talk about Black Cat for like 2 seconds? We could take this back to cartoons for a second. We talk about Black Cat. Bro, I have no idea how it's physically possible for a character who has been around for this long and have every single iteration of the character be hot and horny as fuck. As a more general example of a live-action childhood crush, I don't care how old you are, if you didn't have a crush on a female Power Ranger, you must have just like not had TV or something.
The famous Power Rangers red, right?
Having your first crush on a Power Ranger is like a rite of passage for being a man. It's like a coming of age ritual. Emphasis on coming. Everybody knows Amy Jo Johnson as Kimberly probably gave every 90s kid a throbbing erection, but I'm a Zoomer, so I grew up with Power Rangers SPD. So we had Sid the Pink Ranger and Z the Yellow Ranger. Plus you have the Dr. Cat Manx that definitely turned a bunch of kids into furries. Don't know how, but I came out of that one unscathed. I'll take it. Monica May, who played the SPD Yellow Ranger, is actually a burlesque dancer in real life, so if you're into that kind of thing, that exists. However, despite being an SPD baby, my Power Rangers crush is actually Kira, the Yellow Ranger from Dino Thunder. I can't explain why, but I'm just an absolute sucker for that character's whole vibe. You know, the whole like singer-songwriter, slightly tomboy type beat. It's great. Now, if you want to talk about attractive Power Rangers actors, Megaforce undoubtedly had the hottest cast. The Yellow Ranger and the Pink Ranger were both smoking in that, and I ain't even gay, but even the dudes were looking pretty suave, not gonna lie.
And I got news for you. That means you're gay.
I feel like Power Rangers is home to a larger percentage of childhood crushes like this because there aren't really a whole lot of live-action shows aimed at such a young age range that portray people as people like that, you know what I mean? Most of these kinds of shows are like sitcoms for a slightly older audience, but Power Rangers is for kids like fucking 5 to 12, and there aren't many live-action shows directed at them that have like, you know, character development and shit like that. Being a Power Ranger is like being a many kids' first exposure to how people can be in real life, so it makes sense that kids would form some of their first crushes on these characters and on these actors. So go Penis Rangers! Oh yeah, very gay. Well, let me be clear. Throughout this section, I don't want this to come across as ogling or objectifying these women, because obviously it's not just their looks that make them attractive, right? It's their personalities, their talent, their characters, and in some cases it's just like the vibe, you know what I mean? Attraction doesn't always come from physical appearance, and while that certainly is a factor, I don't think that I would be a Victoria Justice stan if her only appeal was her looks. So, we've just talked about a lot of media-based crushes, right? From cartoons to waifus to celebrities. And while I realize that this video has basically just been she kinda hot though, I think it's a genuinely interesting topic. You know, you can tell a lot about a person by which cartoon characters they want to fuck, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you're into Azula? Just say you like to be dominated, bro. You're like Dexter's mom? Trad wife. Nagatoro, you stack no paper and get no bitches. But hey man, listen, sitting around here thinking about hypothetical relationships with people that don't exist or that you will never meet isn't gonna do you any good in the dating game, right? So you watching this video, you personally, I want you to get up off your ass, go download Tinder, Bumble, or whatever dating app you feel comfortable posting pictures of your shriveled little dick on, and going out and meeting some real women. I know it's kind of gay to say this, but there's somebody out there for everybody, right? So don't let fiction dictate your love life. Either that or find you an absolute freak who is willing to cosplay as anybody you want. But that is all for this video. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed it. Have a happy Valentine's Day. I've been MattCMG, and I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Her pussy is yummy. Her tits are fantastic. I certainly wouldn't mind tasting her magnificent ass.
Hi, sorry to disturb you so late in the night. I have a serious inquiry directed towards Nickelodeon. My question is, what the fuck are you doing? Y'all know I used to have some fire bitches, and when I turn on the TV, I'm trying to see my favorite bitches. Zoe 101? Jeanette McCurdy? Oh my god. And now all you got is these preteens, alright? I'm not a pedo, I'm not trying to look these little kids and get aroused. Now I can't watch Nickelodeon with my dick in my hand anymore. I'm fucking upset. This is some fucking bullshit. Ah! Dan Schneider, bring all my bitches back. I need all my bitches, I need all my bitches. The new shit you put out is whack. Dan Schneider, I'm just trying to get an erection, but now that these kids looking 13 and under, my penis will suffer. Dan fucking Schneider! This ain't a fucking game, bitch. I wanna watch a sitcom with my hand on my dick. I wanna see a titty. Not fucking kid shit. Return all the hot chicks, or you gon' get it, bitch. iCarly. I don't care if you look like Michael Jackson, as long as you giving me action. And Freddie gon' film the reaction. Sam gonna join in and suck me a fat one. Nickelodeon Girls, can't live without them. Woo! Ariana Grande, I know I drive a Hyundai. I could put you in a coma. Have brunch on a Sunday, fancy. My dick, put you in a coffin, all night screaming and tossing. Victoria Justice, I know you trying to touch this. Lizzie McGuire is tight, but I bet Zoe's tighter. You can find me in her bed, take her through that vagina. Amanda Bynes, you a little bit crazy, but you can still have my babies. Woo! Go down like a dog with the rabies. Y'all can't save me. A little bit of weed, hard liquor for the ladies. Got me feeling like a young Dan Schneider from the 80s with a Jewish law firm and an all black Mercedes. Now she playing with the balls like Brady. I ain't fucking with the shitty little kids and their stupid shit. I only want to see the ones where the body fit, and I don't want to be the one to be a little bitch about it, but I'm saying what everybody's thinking. Where the titties at? Dan Schneider, while you're ruining your business, you realize I'd probably buy cable for keeping all the girls and the ratings all stable, cause I ain't trying to see a young baby in the cradle, cause I'm not a pedophile. I'm not trying to see that shit. Come on, man. The girls I've sexualized are all in their 20s and 30s. Disclaimer, I'm not saying you should change all the bitches, but at least something after 10:30. 30. Dan Schneider, bring all my bitches back. I need all my bitches, I need all my bitches, I need all my bitches back.